Hello and welcome to my channel on the YouTube. My name is Julia and this is The Art of Loving. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. It's good to feel you in the energy. In this video, I'm going to talk about what being an artist that creates art taught me about being the artist of my life. And as I think I've mentioned previously, my journey with creativity and my journey with the energy of creation really began when I was in this period of my life, this transition period, being in college and not really knowing what I wanted to do next with my degree, if I even wanted to do anything with my degree. And that is when creativity, the energy of creativity really began to just find me, and I began to receive that energy. I began writing poetry and I've written 2 poetry books. This is my first book, I Saw You in the Sunset, and I don't have my physical copy of my second book, but it is called Helping People Breathe, and you can find both of them down below. But yes, I began writing poetry. Poetry just began to just like be filled out, like poured through me, you can say. There were days when I would write so much poetry, and it was honestly such a beautiful awakening to creativity. And that was a beautiful part of my journey of truly tapping into this creativity and writing this poetry and writing all of these things. And it was easy to write this poetry when it was just for me. And if you're also an artist that creates art, because we are all artists in our lives, but if you also create art, then you know that once you get like a flow to create something, there's just this intuitive hit to create something. You just flow. You know you have to, what you have to do. There's no thinking about it, there's no questioning it. You just go and you just flow. And that's really what I found with writing my poetry, that I would just completely flow. There was no questioning, there was no second guessing, there was just me, the energy of creativity. It's a beautiful energy because you have this blank canvas, this blank page. There's nothing that exists. And it's so beautiful that out of that nothing comes something. Out of this energy that you see, this vision, these thoughts, these words, like you just feel it, and then it gets beautifully birthed out into the physical world. And that is something that is so beautiful. And I noticed that the way that I flowed with my intuition in my art, that I wanted to implement that into my daily, day to day life. I saw that the way that I was free in creating my art, the way that I really expressed myself in my authenticity, the way that I truly was led by something greater when I was writing, there was no second guessing. There was just this beautiful flow of, I trust what is coming to me. I trust, I feel it, I hear it, I see it, I know it, and I am free in it. I saw that that level of freedom, of true trusting my intuition when I was creating my art, lacked in my day to day normal life. In my day to day normal life, I wasn't as free and liberated in following my heart, in expressing myself authentically, in in truly feeling like I was my most authentic self, like when I was expressing and creating my art. I didn't feel the same way that I was even following my intuition in my day-to-day life, because I didn't know what that felt like in my day-to-day life. I I noticed that I wanted to connect with my intuition in all aspects of my life. And the beautiful realization I had when I was on this journey of really feeling the pain that I felt with being disconnected from my intuition, not knowing what direction I wanted to lead my life in, not knowing if the relationships I had were truly serving me. It was this moment of realization that I had become disconnected from my intuition and from my the place within me from my heart that is always guiding me in creating my life. And it's not that we don't hear this intuition, this voice, but it is that it is about not following it. And that's what I saw in my day to day life. I allowed fear and the chaos of my mind to pull me away from what I was truly feeling in my heart was me. And as a result of that, I had pushed away what my heart was truly calling me to do. And that voice began to be so faint, so quiet, that it was truly just this whisper, this whisper that I felt I wanted to reconnect with, so that it was no longer a whisper, but it was something that I could feel on a day to day basis and truly be led by, truly be guided by my heart, guided by my intuition, guided by God, because I see God. I see my intuition as God's voice speaking through me, as always guiding me, as always leading me. And that is how I felt when I was writing my poetry, when I was creating my art, when I felt myself beginning to want to be called to share my art. But before I even began to be called to share my art, I realized that I want to connect with my intuition more, to truly feel it, to truly always be led by it. Because when I am guided by that intuition, guided by God, then I am creating in love. That is the art of loving. I am not only in creating love with my art, because it is an energy of creation, also an energy of God, this higher source, then I am also creating a life that is truly aligned with me, and a life that is love, because my intuition is love, my heart is love, God is love. And therefore, I know that in each moment I am protected, and in each moment I'm truly led, and in each moment I'm creating beauty because I'm fully connected with my heart, connected with my intuition. That God is using me as, and I'm, God is using me and I'm being led in this world. And that for me was something so important, because I saw that I was disconnected from it. And for me, the the way that creativity was awakened within me led me to realize that I had been missing that in my day-to-day life, that I had pushed that voice away. But as a result of the internal lack I was feeling, as a result of allowing myself to look more towards the outside world for answers instead of looking inward and hearing God's voice and hearing my intuition, hearing my heart speak to me, hearing my heart speak to me through God. I allowed the chaos of the world to infiltrate my mind and lead me, instead of being rooted in myself and not just being a follower to the world, but a follower of my intuition, a leader in my life. And that was a really important journey. Let me just put my book there. The sun is also really hot right now, so I'm really sweating, but it looks like a glow probably. Um, and I lost my train of thought. So with that, I will read a poem from my book, Helping People Breathe. And like I mentioned, I don't have that book with me, so I have it on my computer, which my computer also just got really hot from the sun. We're all just super hot here. Okay, and as I mentioned, this disconnection from truly feeling my intuition. And as I mentioned, it's this disconnection because I wasn't allowing myself to feel it. But I truly feel like we are never disconnected from that voice. It is just a matter of us not feeling, us, of us not going after that voice and pushing it away and not allowing ourselves to hear it truly. But that voice is always within us, waiting for us to just hear it. And this is the beautiful realization I had when I was on that journey of wanting to, of 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 feeling like I was disconnected from my intuition. And then I had the realization that I'll just read you the poem. I always do that. I like skip steps instead of just reading the poem right away. Let me read it. I think the voice of my intuition is like when my poems come to me. I just know what to write. I trust what flows to me. I let my hand be guided by the voice of the universe that is speaking through me, and I do not question it. And that is the connection I made with being an artist that creates art, and being an artist that creates is creating a reality. That when we are alone in creating our art, when we're in just this vortex of creation of our art, when we are in that zone, we are truly led, guided, not questioning. It is this feeling that you can't really describe, because you're just in the zone is the best way I can describe it. And that in the zone feeling is so free, it's so liberating. There is no questioning it. You don't let the thoughts of others make you second guess yourself. You don't feel unworthy, because you know you're just creating this art. But it is the moment when we want to share ourselves with the world, when we want to express ourselves in our intuition, because our intuition sometimes is guiding us to do things that might not be what everyone else is telling us to do, or what the outside world is even doing. And so that's when we begin to question it. That's when we begin to doubt it. And that's when we are flowing against the stream, and there's resistance, instead of truly flowing and being led and being guided. And so I had this realization that I want to feel as if I am creating art in every single moment of my life, where I am not second guessing my heart, where I am not questioning my worth, where I am not questioning the divinity within me, the voice of God within me, where I am not looking for to others for more answers, that I am looking internally, looking towards my heart, looking towards my intuition, looking towards God. That I want my life truly to be the greatest masterpiece, in connection with myself, in connection with my heart, in connection with God, in connection with love, in connection with this freedom, this flow, this authenticity, this expression. And you truly cannot be yourself, and you cannot create a life you love if you are not guided by your heart, and being guided by your heart. Because you can truly only be yourself when you are being guided by your heart, when you are expressing your heart, which is love, your heart, which is the authentic you, your heart, which is the you that God created you to be and truly express in this world. And so you can only truly be yourself when you are being led by your heart, your intuition, God's whisper within you. And that is truly the biggest lesson that I learned by being an artist who creates art, and then wanting to implement that into being the artist of my life, was that truly being guided by your heart, and was wanting to be guided by my heart and my intuition, not only when I'm creating art, but when I'm creating my life, and to create that to be the biggest masterpiece. And like I mentioned, when we're creating art, there's this blank page, and it's like there's this blank page, we are sourcing from a divine potential, like there's just so much expansive energy. And first there isn't anything, and then there is, and that is so beautiful. And so, with all of that being said, if you truly resonated with this, and also resonate with that feeling of feeling like you're in a moment where you feel like you want to strengthen that intuition within you, where you want to truly live in your live a life that is heart led, live a life that is created in co creation with your heart, where you feel you are in this freedom of expression of being yourself, freedom of expression of creating a life you love that is heart led, and reconnecting with what it even means for you to create a life that is led by your heart, that is in connection with your intuition. Because creating a life that is in connection with your intuition is creating a life you love, but it is creating a life where you are the leader of your life, where you are a leader of your life in connection with your heart, in connection with your intuition, in connection with something greater that is leading you, where you don't look for others for answers, but you truly look towards yourself. You are a follower of your intuition. And that is the only way you can truly be yourself and be and express your authentic self, is when you allow yourself to create a life that is led by your heart, that is led by you, that is led by your intuition. And that's what I invite you to. I am hosting a 2-day journey called God's Whisper because, like I mentioned, I see our intuition as God's voice speaking to us, speaking through us. And so it's a 2-day masterclass. We begin on June 25th and June 26th, called God's Whisper, because truly you can only be yourself and create a life in love by following your intuition, by following your heart that is centered in love, that is rooted in love, and you create a life that is truly yours. And so that was a big part in my journey that led me to such a feeling of being I'm the artist of my life, was to begin truly creating a life that is in connection with my heart, in connection with my intuition, in connection with expressing my full authentic self. So that's what I invite you into. You can find the link to that down below. I will see you then, but I will also see you in the next video. So like, comment, subscribe to become part of this soul family. Have a beautiful and lovely day today. Bye.